happy to say I am still in that post, even in retirement.
Thank you. I would hand over to Mr. J.K. Adebola to introduce himself and Renewed Hope.
Oh, thank you so very much, madam. As you all know, my name is Ambassador J.K. Adebola. I'm the chairman of the Renewed Hope Global and the chief host of the Renewed Hope Global Town Hall Conference. It's a conference where we invite our leaders from Nigeria every week, every Saturday precisely, to come and engage with Nigerians across the globe regarding issues concerning Nigerians both at home and abroad. So that's basically what we do. Every Saturday from 4 to 6 is when we do our program. So we are in collaboration with the ABLE and the Home Office today to ensure that, because there's been a lot of legislation regarding immigration rules. That's, I think the latest one became official on the 22nd this week, on Tuesday actually. So that's part of the reason why we decided to set this up today, so that, because the Bible says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. So we're trying to impart that knowledge on our people to make sure that those migrants in the UK are not left out, at least when they have proper information, which is what this program is all about. And I'm glad we have a lot of Home Office officials here. Their job today is to enlighten you, to let you know that some of the things that you see that makes you to be afraid, you don't need to be afraid at all. So if you have first-hand information that they are going to be giving you today, I can guarantee you that you will not be afraid anymore, and there will be no need for you to hide anymore. You have to come out and let them know who you are, where you are, make yourself available to the authority, and get yourself and get your immigration status regulated. So that is what we are here for today. Thank you so very much. And my huge thank goes to Lady Jenkins too for making this possible for today. Thank you so very much, ma'am. I really appreciate that.
Thank you, sir. I will now call on my colleagues from the Home Office, Mercy Osipoku, to introduce herself, and my other colleague who is on the line with us today. Over to you, Mercy.
Thank you, Yemisi, and thank you, Mr. Adebola, for having me here. My name is Mercy Oseipoku, and I am the Home Office Community Engagement Lead for Africa. So I ensure that the African communities are informed, they have the correct information, they are complying, so that we can reduce. We probably can never eliminate misinformation, because TikTok is a nightmare. Yeah. But my job is to ensure that you are well informed so that you can make informed decisions. I don't want to hear somebody told me, my sister's friend's husband's wife told me this and that. That needs to stop. We need to go online to gov.uk to look up information and to improve our lives, and most importantly, to comply with the law. Thank you. And that is me. I will speak again and talk a little bit more about myself. I will hand over to Sharon to introduce herself.
Thank you, Mercy. Evening all. Thank you everyone for attending, and for the organisers for organising this great event, which I can see the numbers are rising today. So my name's Sharon Gimman. Alongside Mercy, I also work on the Home Office's National Community Engagement team. So a little bit of background about me. I've been in the Home Office for 25 years, done various roles in the Home Office, from immigration enforcement to the borders. So I'd like to think I've got some knowledge on immigration. So I am the lead for Asia South and Southeast. So whereas Mercy leads on Africa, I lead in Asia. And this is actually just to highlight. So this, the problems about the immigration rules and people's concerns is across all of our communities. I get exactly the same queries from my own communities, be it Chinese, Vietnam, India. So hopefully, and like Mercy's and Yemisi earlier alluded to, we need to make sure that you all are getting the right information. So hopefully this call today is to alleviate some of your fears, as mentioned earlier. And hopefully by the end of this call, you'll have some answers. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you so much for your time. Now, some ground rules. Now, because this event is being broadcasted and people are going to see it, the agenda for today is that we would have Mercy and Sharon talk to us about the new changes, about safeguarding, and everything that we need. Most of the things we may not be, because we've got how many hours? 2 hours. We will not cover, but we will focus on the key changes that you need to be aware of. And then this is not a one-off. We're going to have series of events to follow up. So what we want to do is to ensure that we are all in a safe space. So please, we're going to have Mercy talk, Sharon will talk, then questions and answers. Please, please, please do not air your personal questions online. It is unfair on you because a lot of people will say it. So once you start going into telling a personal question, I will mute you or ask the admin to mute you because like I said, it will be very unfair on you for the whole world to know what your issues are. But what we're happy to do is we will put in the email for Able and the email for Renewed Hope in the chat. If you have pressing questions that are personal to you, you can send your questions there. Also, there is a surgery in Hackney, and Mercy will talk about that surgery, where if you go there, you would meet immigration officers on one-on-one basis. You can tell them, and they can then we don't give advice, but we point you in the right direction, okay? But you can be rest assured that all the information you're getting it from the horse's mouth. So once again, thank you for taking your time to join us. And we're looking forward to an enjoyable time with my colleagues, Renewed Hope, and all of you online. So I will hand over to Mercy. Mercy, over to you, please.
Thank you, Yemisi. Yeah, thank you. For those who just joined, I will add on to what Yemisi just said. During the Q&A, because people join late, they tend to ask the same questions over and over again. It's not going to happen here. If you are late and you don't catch a question, maybe you have to look over the recording. I don't know if it's going to be available. Somehow you need to go back on it and find out. We won't be repeating ourselves, otherwise we can never move on. Also, if you ask a question and you put your personal information on there, we are not going to answer anyway. Or if it's on the sidebar, we're just going to jump over it. Now, back to me again. I will, before I give any presentation, I talk a little bit about myself, not because I'm vain, but because I want people to know that the Home Office also believe in diversity, and they do employ people from different backgrounds. I have been, like Sharon, I've been around for about 22 years, a few years less than Sharon. I started as an immigration officer and I've worked in different parts. And I took over this role just over a year ago, and I probably have the best job in the world. I enjoy it and I'm very passionate about it, because to make a difference and to see it, it feels amazing. So if you are sitting on the wall thinking, oh, I need a job, and of course you are qualified, you're British and you're qualified and you want a job in the Home Office, by all means, go to Civil Service Jobs, register, and jobs will be sent to you. Thank you. Now, let's go straight to the point. There are a few changes that came in on Tuesday, the 22nd of July, but I'm not going to start with that. I'm going to look at certain changes that started earlier on this year. This is something that's been trending. Well, I'm looking at the trending issues within the African community. I'm not talking about the Nigeria, I said African, so I cover the whole of Africa. So I am aware of all the main trending issues within different communities. Both in the West and the East African community, COS is on top. And of course, the misinformation on TikTok is in full swing as well. There's one particular point that I want to make. On the 10th of February this year, a new rule came into force with regards to the behavior. How the way we behave as individuals can affect our future in the UK. So it's the good character requirement. It came into force on the 10th of Feb 2025. So On that date or after that date, every application made will look at the good character requirement. Individuals who enter the UK illegally or through a dangerous route are now more likely to be refused British citizenship. So if you entered the UK illegally or you came through a dangerous route, such as the small boats, when it gets to the point where you want to naturalize, there is a possibility you will be refused because you entered illegally. Apart from that, there are other things that we need to look at. Lately, under the COS, a lot of people are driving in the UK. A lot of Africans are driving in the UK. And maybe they entered 2, 3 years ago with a Nigerian or Ghanaian international driver's license. Now, you can only use that for a year. So if, God forbid, you have an accident and then there is an investigation and then you take your license out, automatically you do not have insurance because you don't have the correct paperwork to drive in the UK. So your insurance is not valid and you can be prosecuted. So if you are prosecuted and you end up in prison, let's say 12 months, you will not come out of prison. You're going straight back to your country because if you go to prison for 12 months, it's automatic deportation. You are not going to be removed for you to come back after a year or two. You are going to be deported. There's a difference, and I'll explain that in a minute. So 12 months prison sentence, automatic deportation. You cannot come back when you have a deportation against your name. You have to apply to get the deportation revoked before you can come back. And don't forget, because of fingerprints and biometrics, you cannot change your details and come back. Oh, that's gone. So please be careful with regards to that. Even if you don't get 12 months, you can still be deported because the judge can recommend that you are deported after your sentence. Now, the difference between deportation and removal. Removal is administrative removal. Depending on how you are removed, you can come back after a number of years. And also depending on whether you were an overstayer and how long you overstayed, you can come back after a few years, sometimes a year, 2, I think is the highest is 5. However, again, with deportation, it's much stronger. You are not conducive. Nobody wants a criminal in their country. That's what that means. So when you are sent away, you're sent away for good. So I wanted to mention that. This good character requirement came on the 10th of Feb 2025 and nobody seems to be talking about it. And also those who have young children, is the same, please. Please. When I was doing some work in Feltham and young offenders prisons, I came across a lot of British children who were born here, but because of their criminal records, they could not get permission to stay in the UK and they were deported. They were born here, but because of they were in gangs or criminal activities, they could not get permission to stay. So if you're on here and you've got a kid, please keep an eye on them. It can affect them too. Now, I'll move on to the other changes that I have written down to discuss today. Like I said, the main topic within the African community is currently the COS. So what are the changes? On the 22nd of July, the main immigration changes. So as most of you may or may not know, on the 12th of May, the government introduced a white paper which outlined major changes, immigration changes. The skilled worker visa. When I say skilled worker visa, it's not just the COS, there are different categories. But of course, in this community, what we are mostly familiar with is the COS. Now, there is something called regulated qualifications framework. So before COS was the care worker COS was between 3 to 5, which is like A level or sys form level. However, now all skilled worker visas have now been moved to degree level, which is level 6 of the regulated qualification framework. So if you're already on COS, you're fine. It won't affect you. But any new ones, you have to have a degree level to do the job. So any workers already in the skilled workforce before the 22nd of July may continue to be sponsored within the 3 to 5 roles, including visa extension, employment changes, or supplementary employment until 22nd of July 2028. For certain roles are subject to review. For care workers under the healthcare worker visa, the requirement is going to be the same. However, for until July 2028, for workers legally employed on the UK sponsor, nobody from abroad is going to be coming to the UK for COS visa. Therefore, if you see or if you've seen on TikTok, on any social media platform that somebody has COS from Nigeria, Ghana, Zambia, wherever, and charging even £200, don't pay. It doesn't exist. Nobody can come to the UK from Tuesday from abroad. You can switch. You can switch, but even with the switching, you need to be working for that employer for 3 months. You need to be on their payroll for 3 months before they can sponsor you. I'm sure most of you already know this. So I will repeat that. From 22nd of July, which is last Tuesday, nobody from abroad will be entering the UK on COS. None. It's gone. You should not pay anybody to bring a family member from abroad on COS. It doesn't exist. It's a lie. Until 2028, 22nd of July 2028, you can switch. You can, if you're already within the UK, you can switch. Even if you're on a different visa, you can still switch onto COS. But of course, you'll be required at degree level to do that. You can do whatever you want in between, but after 2028, everything will be gone. You cannot switch, you cannot come in, that will be gone. And from, of course, 22nd of July again, you will usually only get a new skilled worker visa if you have a degree level qualification. There are certain exceptions until 2026, but that job will have to be on the shortage list, which I will come to. COS, care worker COS, has now been removed from the shortage list. You can switch, you can do whatever, but even with a switch, you must work for that company for at least 3 months before they can apply to switch your visa. I repeat, you have to be on their payroll for 3 months before they can sponsor you. Don't keep handing money to people and then after a month they don't have a job for you and you go look at, you can't do that anymore. That organization has to have you on their payroll for 3 months before you can switch. Now, let's move on to the new temporary shortage and immigration salary list. There are 2 lists now. COS care worker visa is gone. There are others. COS is broad. There are IT. There's so many different jobs. The list is online. gov.uk. You can Google immigration salary list or temporary shortage list. And those 2 lists are the only ones which are now in operation. If the job is on there, it's only temporary. It can only be for a year or 6 months, whatever. But those are the lists where people can apply for jobs in the UK. And I said they have to have a degree level education. Newly sponsored workers on the list cannot bring dependents. They cannot bring dependents. Of course, there's also a higher salary threshold. You have to have a higher salary threshold to be able to be on those visas. There are different ones. There's a whole table of that online. I don't have time to go through that, but there's quite a lot on there. And again, you can't bring dependents. Having said that, if you had your dependents in the UK before the change in March, they are unaffected. They can still be here. They can still get a sponsorship. Everything can be done because they're already here. but you cannot bring any new family members to the UK. The in-country switch again finishes 22nd of July 2028. So if you've got a COS, you need to start planning ahead right now. If you're also on here and you are what we call a displaced person, you are in the middle of finding a new sponsor to help you and all that, I am going to put something on the sidebar, resources to support displaced people. Click on it and go and look into getting help for yourself and your dependents. I think I'm okay for now. There are other changes coming. For example, on the white paper, I only talked about those that came in on Tuesday. But on the white paper, there are other things as well. Graduate visa, it's gonna drop from 2 years to 18 months. The start date has not been confirmed. And the big one, every single person is asking me about, is the ILR, indefinite leave to remain, probably being moved from 5 to 10 years. Yes, there is no confirmation on the date when it's starting. And the main question people are asking is, okay, so if I'm already in the UK and I'm already on the route, is that going to affect me? The Home Secretary hasn't responded to that. All she said was she's still looking at the fine details and no firm plans are currently in place. So I cannot answer that question. It is going to happen. It's in the white paper. Fine details have not been confirmed. So whatever you're doing, please continue doing it. If you're on here, you've got indefinite leave to remain already, and you are trying to figure out what to do, whether to apply for British national, I think you should go ahead and apply because any new rules will come in after a certain date. So if you do it now, it will not affect you. The other thing I want to talk about is compliance. When we talk about compliance, we're talking about everything. If you're legally present, comply with whatever restrictions have been placed on you. So if you're supposed to report, please report as required because you can't use the law on one hand to help you stay in the UK and you can't disrespect it on the other hand. If you are here on a tourist visa and you have 6 months or how many days you go back to your country, do whatever you need to do your tourist thing, go apply and come back, comply. If you want a clean immigration record, please respect the law and comply. Number 3, reintegration information. If you are currently here, you are illegally present, or you just fed up, you want to go back, there is help as well. We have a voluntary return service with a lot of information that can help you resettle back in your country. Even if you don't tell anybody you are leaving and you just board a plane, you buy your own ticket, you board a plane and you go back. Let me use Ghana because it's safer. You go back to Ghana, there is help. Somebody at the airport will speak to you and ask you if you need that help. They're not trying to steal from you. It is a genuine UK government program helping people to resettle. Even if you arrive late at night and as Ghana, British Airways, for example, going to Ghana, sometimes arrives very late in the evening. If you can't travel to your village, they will find somewhere for you to stay, for example, overnight, sometimes a few days, so that you settle back and you think about your next move. And there's so much help out there. There's a lot of information. I've got a lot of reintegration information. If anybody needs it, I'm quite happy to share it. There's a lot of help. And so you need to know. So compliance is a big thing. Every time we talk about immigration, people, oh yeah, but you come to our doors and you knock it down. If you comply, nobody will come to your door. There is always compliance before enforcement. Once you comply, there is no need for enforcement. So please, I will leave it here for Sharon to continue. Any questions, I'm quite happy to answer at the end, I think. Isn't it, Yemisi?
Yes, thank you very much, Mercy. That was really, really informative. So Sharon, over to you. We're not taking questions yet. We'll get to Q&A. We're not going into questions yet, Engineer Mbakwe. Over to you, Sharon.
Thank you, MSC. Okay, so as Mercy said, I think there's a lot to take in this year. There has been a lot of changes. I know there has been fear across communities about all these changes that are happening. So Mercy's done a very good job of explaining the main things. I just wanted to touch on some of the work that we've done on the National Community Engagement Team, which is all kind of wrapped around this and it was all part of this. And that comes down to safeguarding. And actually, it probably goes to address some of the questions why some of these rules were brought in. Now, I'm sure a lot of you on this call probably agree with us in the Home Office. I mean, yes, I get it. There's obviously a lot of sentiment about anti-Home Office, about why the Home Office done this, they're stopping people coming. The reason that happened, because lots of people were exploited when they came to the UK. We saw in the region of up to £40,000 people were paying to come to the UK and stay here. Mercy knows, I know it happens in the Indian community as well. It's happened in the African communities, many communities. They were coming here on that care worker visa and coming here and finding no jobs. So I know for the last 2-3 years, we spent a great deal of work with very vulnerable people who are finding themselves homeless in a lot of cases. And that worry, that concerns us, not as being home, of course, as part of the Home Office, but obviously in part of our communities, that people are being exploited so much. And that's what I think one of the reasons we have these kind of calls is to warn people, please don't get exploited. You are going to see TikTok stories out there. You're going to see employers approach you, legal representatives approach you to say we can do everything. I know it's not always easy to read. Even me working in the Home Office 25 years, I do not understand some of the documents sometimes when they come out. The information is all on our government websites. Everything you need to know. I will try and post links. Everything, or we can send them later. Everything is available. So it is so important that we get the right information when we make these decisions. You may hear, oh, well, I think Mercy mentioned it earlier as well. This is happening, or the ILR route's changing from 5 years to 10 years. Oh, what can we look at? You've heard someone else doing it. Oh, we'll have a child here. That will make you. So all of these things, there are obviously laws out there, but please be careful and make sure you do your full research. If you do come to a place whereby actually you've made your applications, they've been refusals, yes, and many people do. And I just want to assure you on this call, it's not like the Home Office doesn't understand. We do. We were recruited into these roles actually for our backgrounds. We belong to these communities. We understand our communities. We totally appreciate why people migrate in the first place. We know it's for better opportunities, and absolutely. And the UK still wants to provide those opportunities to people, but in the correct way. There are now, as we've heard from Mercy, lots of avenues to come to the UK. Yes, it's probably become a lot more harder now, but the reason it's become harder is because of the amount of exploitation that we saw. And what we obviously see, it's actually our people exploiting our own people. It doesn't come from outside, it comes from within our own communities. So that's got to be stopped. One thing when we did the whole care home and the care worker visas, the amount of, I think, across our communities that we saw the exploitation, and we get it. You've spent so much money in getting here, the £40,000-50,000. I mean, that's probably just to start, and having to buy. I mean, we'd heard stories of people getting here, having to buy their own accommodation, their own cars, and then not getting a job until they had all of that, working sometimes 20 hours a day for sometimes less than minimum wage. And they were too scared to report, because ultimately they don't want the Home Office to say, well, actually, your employer no longer exists. We're going to send you home now. I won't talk too much in that detail on this call, but I think what I really wanted to flag is there is help out there if you are genuinely suffering. And it's not always, it's sometimes very hard to talk to communities when we talk to communities, because we know we do understand people want to stay. They spent so much money. It's like, what route do I have? That's closed down to stay. Please make sure you're getting the right advice. Now, obviously, we on this call as Home Office officials, we cannot give you legal advice, but all we can say to you is that any advice that you are getting, make sure it's bona fide. Make sure your solicitors that you're working with are on the list, and they're not just word of mouth, and you're going to accredited list, and question it. We've heard some horror stories over the years about lawyers offering. I'm probably said the lawyers on this call. I'm sure you're all great, but there are some very people. It's a quick, you can do it this way, or unfortunately, it still happens. Go down the asylum route. Whatever route you're taking, make sure that you know what you're doing. Don't just leave it all to your legal representations. Make sure that you have a strong case, because you don't want to end up spending £40,000 that you spent to get here, and then another 20, 30, 40, 50,000 pounds on legal advice here, and then to end up in the same situation whereby everything's been refused. You've gone through all those paths. What you were told by your legal reps, in fact, wasn't true, and you're probably in a worse position. And I think, as Mercy said earlier, there are options. Now, I know many people will think that the Home Office is here, they just want to send us back. No, we are saying to you, look at your options. Please seek your legal advice. If there is a way for you to stay here legally, absolutely, but do it with full knowledge. If at the end of the day, you've come to a situation whereby you've done all of that, or actually, this has been mentioned when I even speak to my communities, or even when I speak to some people actually do want to go home. Some people have said, I've absolutely had enough. I've done all my thing. I actually miss my family. I've been stuck here. It's not really going well, and I want to go home. Now, we know there's many reasons why, out of shame, out of fear, of money spent, people think, well, I'll be seen as a failure. But more and more we're seeing now that option is there. And we know that one of the biggest fears people have of immigration or the Home Office is that I don't want to be arrested. I don't want to end up in a detention centre and be there for ages. So, as you know, and it's a very popular scheme at the moment, is our voluntary return scheme. So we can help you. Mercy attends loads of surgeries in the African community. We hold them across, and we know if people want to know where these surgeries are. Now, these surgeries are running in conjunction with charities and with the Home Office. So it's a very secure place where you can go. You won't be arrested. You can come and talk to immigration officials about your case and say to them, look, like I said, we can't give you legal advice, but we can talk to you about your options. And if it is that you want to go home, we can arrange that for you. In my community, for example, a lot of people don't have their passports anymore. They don't want to approach their own consulates or embassies for their passports. We can help that process too. And in that meantime, you won't be detained. You won't be arrested. All the organisation for you to return back will be made. There is plenty of reintegration schemes out there. So that is an option. And please don't be scared of that option. Some of the cases that I've seen especially in the last 10 years of being on this team almost now, but even in my role in 25 years in the Home Office, people struggle and they suffer. I mean, I think life is hard in the UK as it is. And if you've got that kind of immigration that you haven't got any immigration status, it's worse. The stories of people waiting for that knock at the door, or when you go and find a job, you're on your employment premises, that knock at the door from enforcement and be arrested. I know with the Indian community, for example, people would wait for, well, if I stay here, even without status for 10 years, I can stay. No, it used to be 10 years. Many, many years ago, it increased to 15 to 20. Currently, if you are here without status, you have to show 23 years. 23 years of illegal immigration history in the UK to qualify for the long residency rule. So it's not quick wins. Many things that, it's not only in my community, across communities. I will have a child here. When the child hits their 8th birthday, you can apply to stay. Once again, are you going to stay in hiding for 8 years? Dodging immigration, Home Office, your work? So just bear all these in mind. And like I said, my message, I think, at the end of all of this is please look after yourselves. You will be open to exploitation, absolutely. But please, please, please do your research before any decision you make. Obviously, I'm happy to answer questions at the end and everything. That's just one point I want to get across today.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you, Emma.
Yeah, thank you, Sharon. I just wanted to touch also on the exploitation bit as well. In that a lot of the people in the community believe that when they are here and they're being exploited, they cannot talk. I remember a case that and Saffron and one other organization, it was Saffron, yes, dealt with. And I think a lot of people would have seen that video. It was on Facebook. It was a guy in his 50s who had come into the country. He had been invited, obviously, by his wife, but all the time that he was here, he was being exploited. And it was a case of, I think there was one day he came back from work and it was all his stuff were on the driveway, and this guy had just had enough. So what happened was one of the Saffron actually engaged with the man, and then I was in the role that Mercy is in now, and they brought it to me. And what we did was we referred it to our vulnerability team. We actually have a vulnerability team in the Home Office. So please, like Sharon said, if you are going through anything that has to do with exploitation, modern slavery, forget about people who will tell you that if you engage with the Home Office, they would arrest you. It is a lie. We have a dedicated team that will listen to you. So going back to this man's story, we took it on, and luckily we took him out of that situation. And I can say that today the man has gotten his British passport because he was taken out of that situation. We helped him. I'm not saying that will be the case for everybody, but what I'm saying is if you're in a situation, I mean, I've heard stories where, you know, some women would say, oh, it's okay for them to exploit the man. Nothing is going to happen to them. Hello? No. It's the same rule for women and men. So if you're a man and your partner has brought you to the UK and you're being exploited, please speak out. Okay? Please, I beg you, speak out. I'm going to put the email for Able. I'm going to put the Mr. Adebola, can you put the email for Renewed Hope as well? So whoever you're comfortable with. If you're a man and you're in that situation, reach out to us. If you're a woman and you're in that situation, please reach out to us. We've heard so many stories of, or when they got here, somebody was the main sponsor, and then all of a sudden the whole thing has gone pear-shaped, and people are wondering, what can I do? They don't know where to turn to. And it's stressful. It is stressful. The other thing I want to touch on is, which we're going to have, we had an event on that some months ago, but we're going to have a follow-up. Please, 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 this has to do with social services. For those of you bringing your children into the UK, I beg you, understand the rules of the land. Understand the words that you use for your children. I'll give you an example. A case was brought to my attention some years ago where a child that would always bring a note. I mean, for people who have kids, it's called the pink or the white one. So when your child gets into trouble in school, they write you a note. So there was this girl was going to school. The mother and the father told her, make sure you do not come back home with a pink slip. If you do, let me use Yoruba, and noepa literally means I will kill you, right? Which is not what it's a word, it's a statement that we use regularly within the Nigerian community, especially Yoruba people. So this girl got to school, got into problem, and guess what? When it was time to go home, she said she wasn't going home. And what happened? The teachers inquired from her why she didn't want to go home. She said, mother said she was going to kill her when she gets back home. Before you know it, social services were called in, police were called in. They took those children away from them. And then intervention. So we're not going, that's just a snippet of what is happening. So please, if you have come on whatever route it is and you have children, please understand the language of the country. Be careful of what you say to your children. But one thing, nobody's saying you should leave your children to run amok. My children are 27 and 25, and they are ingrained in the Nigerian culture. My 27-year-old will see my friends on the streets and prostrates. Maybe not the full one, but halfway. He knows that. So the government is not saying do not bring up your children, because I've heard some parents saying, oh, because of that, you see children on the streets, children as young as 7, 8, 9 on the streets, and you're wondering where their parents are. I've even heard stories of parents saying, oh, because my children know that we don't have immigration status, they use that against us. There's so many charities within the community that you can actually reach out to that can provide that support for you. So I would hand over to Mercy to also talk about the vulnerability aspect of, just to continue from where Sharon stopped. And then after that, we would go into Q&A.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Yemisi. I'm glad you mentioned the marriage. That gentleman from a few years ago we helped. I'm sure people on here have seen a lot of videos on Facebook, on TikTok about these things. Abuse in any shape or form, it's illegal in the UK. If you think, okay, oh, in Nigeria I could do this, in Ghana I could do this, in Zimbabwe I could do this. I had a call with, I won't mention which country, with 30 men. It was a men's group, and one of the men said, can you imagine, I have to work night shift and come home and take the kids to school. Can you imagine? In Nigeria, in my country, I'm the boss, but here I'm looking after children. I said, welcome to the UK. This is the culture. Just get yourself acquainted to how we live. Taking your kid to school is not a form of abuse. There are much bigger fishes to fry. We are talking about when you bring your wife or husband to the UK, and of course, you are the main sponsor, and they are relying on your visa. And then they work because you are husband and wife, you have one bank account, and the wife doesn't even get money to pay for personal hygiene stuff. That is a form of abuse. It's a financial abuse. They work, but they don't have access to the money. It's a financial abuse. If they ask questions, they get a slap. And then it becomes physical abuse. There are so many different abuses. The Home Office has a vulnerability team that looks into all that. I have put a few things on the sidebar, a few links on the sidebar, and I have also put visas when you separate or divorce. I've got quite a bit on the side, but I've also put workers' rights leaflets, and I've put e-visa account and a few other links there. But it's very, very important. Abuse isn't just hurting the other person. It can be quite dangerous as well. Yemisi mentioned about the lady who chucked the husband's stuff outside the house. There was a recent case somewhere in Scotland, and the man was so stressed he went out and got a weapon and actually caused harm to this woman. So it can be quite dangerous. Abuse in any shape or form can be very, very dangerous. We don't want that. And with regards to what Yemisi said about children, we have so many children who have now been taken into care or under plans and all that. In fact, Abel requested freedom of information request about Nigerian children currently in care or under any sort of plans, and from just one local council, and it was shocking. I think there were somewhere around 220 children.
Yep, you're right. Yep.
One council, one. And imagine how many, the whole of the UK. And you know why? The recent influx of people on COS has created a lot of misunderstanding. For example, when they were paying for the visa, nobody thought to ask about childcare or even take childcare into consideration. When somebody comes to you and tells you, I can get you a visa to go to the UK and work, ask questions. And then you sell your house and take your 3 children and come to the UK. When it's time to go to work, you forgot that somebody has to take the kids to school and somebody has to bring them from school. And then you decide, well, in Africa, you can just leave them there and go. And then you decide to do that. And this is what has caused this. There are so many cases. I've been personally involved in a couple in Surrey. And in Surrey, the house, I think they were trying to warm up their food. and the house caught fire. And 2 children were rescued, 6 and 8. Can you imagine? They weren't even teenagers. I'm not saying that it's okay to leave teenagers. They were 6 and 8 on their own in a foreign country in the house when the house caught fire. Just imagine where they are now. They've been taken in by social services. Social services are currently overwhelmed with these. There are things which are legal, completely acceptable in our countries, which are not acceptable and illegal in the UK. Please. And when you have a child here, and in your country, if you have FGM, female, I will use the word circumcision, it doesn't, UK is illegal. You can't do it here. Again, we've had cases where at the maternity appointments, they were specifically told that this is what we do in this country. This is illegal, and therefore you cannot practice this here in this country. And the woman understood and said, yes, I understand. Guess what? After the child was born, they went to see the midwife, yeah, and they checked the child. The child had gone through FGM. You can get up to 12 years in prison. It's not a joke. Whatever is illegal in this country, like I alluded to earlier, you can't, on one hand, use the law to get leave to remain and be on a route to indefinite leave, and on the other hand, disrespect the law. It does not work like that. You have to comply across the board. Comply with immigration, comply with Section 55, whatever it is, you need to comply. Social services contact you, you comply, and you go to that meeting. People in the community are telling you, oh yeah, don't go, they will take your child. You know what? They will take your child if you don't go. If you go, they will sit down with you and have a plan to help you. The last resort is when they take your child. Unless the child is in immediate danger, they will not take your child. They will work with you. So if you don't work with them, they will assume that the child is in immediate danger and they will take that child away. Any legal person will tell you, any rational person will understand that if I go to that meeting and tell them like what, I don't speak Yoruba, like what Yemisi said was just a figure of speech. It's a way we talk in our country. I wasn't going to kill my child. My God, I love my child. It's just a figure of speech. They will understand and they will allow you to bring their kid home and everything will be fine. Maybe they will keep an eye on you, but everything will be fine. If you don't go at all, there is a problem. It means that they will assume that, oh, maybe she really meant to kill that child. So please, when I talk about complying, you comply across the board. And please go to parents' evening at school so that you know what's going on and read. My biggest thing is students who don't read. Students can write theses, they can do PhD, and yet they cannot go online and do a small research on something so important. Why? You just Google it and go through the gov.uk link. Every information will be there. I understand it's not the easiest of page to navigate, but there are other ways. I mean, there are other pages where people can actually summarize it. Solicitors, reputable ones, and Citizens Advice Bureau. They do summarize stuff on there. Or you just make an appointment and go speak to somebody about it. Please, there is help out here. There is a lot of help. Come to our surgery in Stoke Newington. We have a surgery in Hackney, the 4th Thursday of the month. Mr. Adebola will share it on the sidebar. Go and speak to somebody about it, please. I will leave it here. But the Home Office doesn't just remove people or doesn't just send people to come and talk to you. We also safeguard people. If you are at risk, we will help safeguard you. I don't want to talk about things in the press, but there's been so many issues in the press which have landed on our desk and they have been safeguarded. Yemisi mentioned the one which was on TikTok, that gentleman. I remember him very, very clearly. And in one of our programs, he insisted on coming to speak on it because he wanted to share his story with people. That was during COVID. And he came on and he shared his story and it was so touching. So, you know, there's help available, but you need to be proactive and open up and talk to people about it. I will leave it here.
Thank you very much, Mercy. We will now go into the Q&A, and can we spotlight Sharon and Mercy? Now, whilst they're doing that, can I just say a big thank you to Mr. Adebola. I met Mr. Adebola many months ago. I think it was the first surgery that Abel had, which was on behalf of the Foreign Commonwealth Office. They're called FCDO now. Abel was raising awareness across the country to raise awareness on voluntary return and the support that was available for them. And we had an event in Leytonstone, I remember very well, East London, and a lot of people were hanging around. One of the things that they were saying was, Abel was rounding up people for the Home Office to return home. It wasn't real, but he came in and he asked the questions. And after the event, he did a lot of blog for Abel, saying exactly what he witnessed, and that, has led to the relationship that we have now. So thank you so much, Mr. Adebola. Now, the other thing I want to say is we will be having further events that, like I said earlier, our events are actually based on what is going on in the country. So we don't just have events for the sake of having events. No, we look at the trend and then we come here to raise awareness. So we have some hands raised. Let me spotlight Mercy and add to spotlight. Where are you, Sharon? Add to spotlight. Now, Mr. Adebola, he's a lawyer. We're not going to spotlight him, but you can come in at any time. In fact, let me spotlight you. You can come in at any time, because there are times when Home Office are speaking. It's always good to hear from legal people to say we're saying the right thing or we're saying the wrong thing. So, in fact, Mr. Adebola, I think you should, say something for about 2-3 minutes, and then we go into the Q&A, because I can see some hands up already.
Okay, thank you so very much. Even though my plan was to take a back seat and just give you guys because today is about you, not about us.
Yes.
Because I believe Nigerians and Africans and I dare say Asians too would like to hear directly from the horse's mouth, as it were, because you are the ones that make the decisions. All we just do is to help our clients to make the right applications and stuff like that. And for me, I believe this program, like you said, I think we would like to make it a periodic program whereby our people will be will sensitize our people, because there's a lot of people out there who are skeptical about, as soon as they hear Home Office, this is one of the reasons why I didn't want us to do this a physical meeting, because a lot of people would not come. They'll say, they will come carry also, go home. But then, like you said, I think we met about almost 10 years ago now.
More than 10 years, 2029.
Yeah.
2009.
Yeah, in Leytonstone. And that really opened my eyes to that meeting, because you will not believe how many people have advised to go home. I don't believe that any case is hopeless. But there are some cases when you look at it from head to toe and you cannot pick, because for me, before I can take up any case, there has to be at least 50% chance of success. And what I would then be looking for now is something to swing the pendulum in their favor. But when you have a client whose case is even not of the 10%, what do you do? So what I've done in so many cases to say, you know what, with the situation you are in now, right? The best bet would be for you to go home. And it was that meeting that I came to that opened my eyes that the Home Office are even helping people to go. And I remember the first person that I helped was a very old man who has been here for over 20 years. He has family back home in Nigeria. He's not seen them for 20 years. He's here. He couldn't work. That was when this the big changes came in, where employers won't give you a job unless you have a status and stuff like that. And I told him, look, if you spend 20 years and you don't have a job now, what's the guarantee that in the next 10 years you'll be able to get? And he was in his 70s at that time. I said, look, the best, and you've not seen your family for over 20 years, they are ready to give you some money now, at least to start you up. If you think of what you can do back home, they won't give you lump sum money, but at least they will give you some stipend for the next 6 months when you get to Nigeria. And by the time you exchange that money, it's something. And the man took it, and trust me, today he's very thankful for doing that. So these are some of the things. And again, on the issue of the COS, I think I was half expecting it, that it was going to be cancelled. I'm talking of the care home thing, because we as lawyers, we hear things and we see things, and that was why I try not to get involved in, because it is very easy for you to smear your reputation, easy like that. I've had situations where I'm not surprised when you're talking about people paying 20,000, 30,000 and stuff. People have sent me audios of what transpired between. There was one particular case that I just want to mention here, just to let people understand the severity of the reason why the Home Office decided, even though I may not necessarily like it, but I can understand where the Home Office is coming from with this, because it was set up to help people, who have very little education, for them to be able to come here and settle and be able to make a life for themselves. But our people in their ways of doing things messed it up. This lady, she had a business in Nigeria, everything. She sold everything, her car, her house, and everything. Paid it to this sponsor. Guess what? She didn't get the visa. And what shocked me more was this: the COS that she issued to her was a charity one, which means even if she was given the visa, she would not be able to earn salary here. So I'm thinking in my head, what did she tell her to make her to sell her house and everything to come and do a job that she would not be paid for? That was the day I knew, if the Home Office get to know about this, trust me, they will scrap this thing straight up. So that was why I wasn't surprised when it started unraveling, because it's been a long time coming. And there are a couple of people too who were able to get the visa. They came here. I think about three. I have three cases where they came to me and they couldn't get a job and everything. And I said, okay, look, this is what I need to do. I need to get these people prosecuted. And guess what they told me? No, I don't want trouble. No, I don't. You know what people, how they think. And I'm thinking, what? You're just wasting my bloody time here. To get the point.
Mr. Adebola, you know what? That story, I was going to say to Mercy, and Sharon, because there's a lot of work in the background, and you just, hit the nail on the head in terms of people not reporting. And then people
That's
are
right.
saying the government is not doing anything about it. And I'm saying to them, you know very well that the government works on facts.
Yes.
If you do not report, how do you then, what is the evidence? How can they then go after these people?
Yeah.
So please, if you have evidence of a similar situation where you have it, because it's a scam.
Yes.
Mercy and Sharon and Abel are working closely with the GLA. But without evidence, we cannot do anything. Okay? So let's it's 6 minutes past 8. I can see some hands up. Mercy, did you want
Missy, can I add something really quickly with regards to Mr. Adebola, people not lodging any cases against these fraudsters? If it happened in the UK and you transferred the money through a UK bank, you can actually go to your bank, of course, report to the police, go to the bank, and there are ways. I have seen cases, at least 7 cases where people have had their money refunded to them. And one of them, Yemisi and I are trying to get her on a call to explain how she did it. I think the money was was it Nationwide, one of these banks, and so she went to make the report, went to the bank with a report. They spoke to her at length, and there was another body involved as well. Somebody else spoke to her, and they traced the money, because of course when money goes through a bank you can trace it. They traced the money. They requested the money back from the bank that they paid it to. The bank gave them the money and they refunded. In fact, they refunded the money to her and then went after. This has resulted in that every time she is sending money, they put a block on it and they call her a certain amount of money, of course. They have to call her and say, are you going to do this? If you do this now, and you know, it's similar to what happened previously, we are not going to pay. So she said she was sending £500 to her sister, and they put a block on it saying, do you know this person? Do you know, additional security on her account. And you know what? This is something she's prepared to go through. So that's fine. And she got £12,000 back.
So for those of you, let me just reiterate what Mercy has just said. So if you have paid anybody, maybe on behalf of your family through your own bank in the UK, there is help out there that you can possibly get your money back. Okay, right. So
even through PayPal as well, you can also do through PayPal. Yeah, you can get it back.
We probably need to do a session on that, but once we speak to that lady, I think we'll organize something. All right. So I've got.
Sorry, just very quickly.
Yeah,
I just wanted to tell a quick story based on that. How we talked earlier about people exploiting their own. So in one of my communities very recently, a guy has just been sent to imprisonment recently for this very reason. Same thing happened, as Adebola just mentioned earlier. Oh, you're not getting paid by your employer. Home Office isn't doing anything. I can help you. So he set an advert to the community to say that if they weren't being paid by their employer, especially on the care license, come to me. I will in my own ways speak to the employer and get your money back. So he was doing that through not very nice means and going and threatening the employer, and actually then charging the person a percentage of that money when they got it back. Oh, wow. So once again, if you are hearing of that, we can get your money back for you. Yes, as Mercy said, go through the legitimate routes, go to your banks, absolutely. Don't go to people who will tell you they'll get your money back for you, because it's probably not always going to be in the right way.
Absolutely.
A quick story.
Thank you. Hopefully, people will.
That's quite a nice niche, isn't it?
Exactly. And I've seen, like you said, Mercy, there are times when I see TikTok, people that have only been in the UK for a year and they've become experts on immigration matters.
Oh, yeah.
You see the number of followers they have. I'm like, who
That's
are
right.
those people? And why is it that our people will listen to them? But hopefully, I mean, today we've got 374 people online. Hopefully, if we start spreading that message, that you can actually go directly to the Home Office and get information. Hopefully spread this. And if there is a minister or a pastor, an imam here, Home Office also goes to churches and mosques and events to actually raise awareness and talk. So you can invite them and they will come. So consider that as well. So we've got Engineer Joe Mbakwe. Can I just remind people, we don't want your personal stories because it is unfair on you. This is being recorded. This is going to be aired on social media. It's going to be very unfair for everybody in the world to know your business. So make it as impersonal as possible. If you start talking about yourself, I'm sorry, I'll probably mute you. So Engineer Joe Mbakwe, are you there? And you've only got 2 minutes, max.
Okay, I will go straight to the point. I'll keep it simple and straight.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll be talking. I want to ask particularly Mercy about the protected period. Did you get that?
About
the protected period.
Protected period of what?
As regards to the new immigration law that just came into place. Initially, I felt it was in that of maybe if you're working with a particular sponsor, the protected period is for the particular sponsor. But I think from your explanation, it is not for a potential sponsor. Am I wrong or right?
It's yeah, potential sponsor, yeah.
Okay, now
Not the
most of the
current one.
potential sponsors make use of an intermediary for their services. For example, they use agencies. These agencies help them get skilled workers that have the capacity and the expertise to help provide services to their service users. Now, these payments of the payments for the services whose these carers provide are being paid by the agency. but indirectly through the company. So now when you're talking about being on the payroll for 3 months, minimum of 3 months, right? You said that.
Mm-hmm.
If the payment is from the agency, not from the main company, can't that still represent that the payment? It can be
Of
used
course, it
because
can.
definitely it can. So I think that's an indirect way of explaining the protected period.
Well, the law has to be written in a certain way, or policy has to be written a certain way. If there are anything outside the norm, you will have to explain that in your application.
But
And
I
it's
hope you,
quite normal
I hope
within
you
that
understood me.
sector.
Yeah,
Sorry?
you understood because most of them wouldn't want you to be on 20 hours with them directly. They will
Mm-hmm.
want to get agencies to hire you through the agencies, then you provide the services, they pay the agency pays you.
That's
So
right.
that can still be used as part of the 3 months,
Yeah,
right?
you're still on their payroll.
Okay, that's fine. That's what
Yeah.
I want. I want that clarification.
Oh, no, you're still on their payroll, but you just have to provide all the paperwork because, like I said, it won't apply the same for everybody. Like you said, some people go through agents, some people are direct, and some homes use agents. So your particular situation is that you work through an agent. It's still
Exactly.
payroll. You still get paid. So far as you got the evidence to support that, that's fine. That protected period, it's fine. It's covered.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Emmanuel Yerokun, are you there?
I still have one question. I didn't finish.
No. Sorry.
Please, it's just simple.
No,
You
no,
caught
hold
me.
on,
Apologies.
hold on.
Apologies, Mrs. Yemisi. It's very important. I
Sorry,
need to.
no, sorry.
Apologies.
No,
Apologies, please.
no.
Apologies.
Can
Apologies.
you give? I'm sorry. I'm going
Apologies,
to mute.
please. Apologies.
No,
I need to ask, please.
no.
Apologies.
Wait for
1 second. 1 second.
No, can you mute Mr. Mbakwe? I'm sorry. No, it's unfair. We have so many people
You
on.
said 2 minutes. I've just exhausted 1 minute plus some
No,
seconds.
sorry.
I still have some seconds.
Can we go to other people and come back to you, please?
No, please mute this man, please, for a second.
Can we go to other people and come back to you? Because that is not fair. Mr. Yerokun, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Please,
Good evening, everybody. I already sent, because initial instruction was for us to put the questions in the chat. So I sent a question directly to Mercy and another one to Sharon. So I don't know whether you want me to read them out.
Well, read the first one if you have time.
Okay.
Because I sent it directly to them, I can see they're not looking at the chart.
Yeah, we can't. Yes, we can't make the chart feasible for everybody. This is where the challenge is. Okay.
Me, but it's okay.
Okay. All right. Let me just repeat it so that it's faster. When you were talking about the changes and the effect, because I've got people from Wales here, maybe like 150 or slightly more join this call because we wanted to get the core understanding of the changes. There are different perspectives. I'm an advisor, I'm an immigration advisor. Lady Jenkins knows me. There are conflicting advice that people are receiving. And it's when the Home Office is here. I know you're not the policy team, but you are the one engaging with the community. You could feed back to the policy team. But the first question is, the changes if your new job role is not on the temporary shortage list and you have been in the UK before. You did mention March, but you didn't specify which year. I'm suspecting that was March last year, not March this year.
Last year.
Last year for carers, because they were the one impacted. But now, assuming a carer is switching to a level 4 job, which is not on the temporary shortage list, are they not impacted by the new rules? Because from the explanation you gave, it's not very clear. Because they already have dependents, they're already here in the UK, and they are now moving on to a level 4 or level 5 job after 22nd of July. My understanding is that they are affected. They can't take their dependents along.
If you're leaving the code to go into another code, that's completely new. But if you're still, for example, let me use a care one. If you are switching within the care, it's all fine.
Yeah.
So if you are changing the code of your job, that's a whole different application. Does that make sense?
I do, because the way you explain it, people will still come back with questions. So let people understand that if you were a carer and you are probably going to move to a level 4 job. I can't think of any at the moment, or a level 5 job that is not a level 6 job, and that job role is not on the temporary shortage list. Your dependents, they drop off. And that leads me to the second question, which I addressed to Sharon.
So can you hold on? Can I
Hold on,
mention
hold on.
something? Can I mention something? I made it very clear when I was talking that if you switch within, if you switch, and you were here before before the new rules last year, March, everything is fine. Your dependents will still be there. I also said that there are so many different categories under the COS, but I will talk about within the care sector. I made it very clear
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't get that.
that
All right.
I will talk about the care sector because that's what is affecting my community.
Okay.
So I'm not talking about switching within. It has to be on the list. You know, there's so many changes. I don't know why anybody will switch onto one that is not on the list because you can't do that technically.
Okay. So it
Since
leads me
Tuesday, it has to be on the list for you to be able to
so
switch.
that I don't lose
That's
all of my
what I
2
understand.
minutes. Yes.
Mr.
So
Yerokun, even if
sorry,
it's
ma.
2 questions within 1 minute, no, I think because we have so many hands, we'll come back to you if we have the time. I think it's only fair for people to ask 1 question, and then if we have the time, we'll come back to you. Thank you. Habib
Thank you.
Olaguju, are you still there? Okay.
Good evening.
Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, thank you for the message. So please, my quick question is that if a previous dependent visa application was refused based on marriage was proxy, and now they've done a federal marriage, and the Home Office considered the relationship was not genuine and substituting, but they now have new fresh evidence to show that, could they apply? Like if they will apply, is there any stuff that could make them refuse the visa again?
Okay. The person got married within the UK, is that correct?
Yeah, it was proxy. The husband was in Nigeria, the wife was in the UK.
Yeah, they were married in the UK, so they went through the 70-day period, right?
Yeah.
And they were interviewed by the Home Office, right?
No, there was no interview.
There was no interview. They were allowed to go ahead and get married, right?
You said
After
the
70
marriage
Yeah.
was by proxy.
It was by proxy
Oh,
initially.
Proxy, meaning that one
Before
person
the
was in
visa.
Nigeria, one person was here.
One person was in the UK, yeah.
okay. No, okay. So it wasn't pre-assessed. This is what I was trying to determine. Okay. The marriage wasn't assessed by the Home Office within the 70 days. Yeah. Right. I will explain how the marriage thing works. Marriage is for
Okay.
love. According to the UK legislation, you marrying somebody for love, yeah? There is no guarantee that UK is the place that marriage has to, you have to settle, even if the other person is British. So you marry somebody
Okay.
for love, you don't marry for papers, yeah? And there is no
Okay.
guarantee that the person who isn't British or who is illegally here or settled can benefit from that marriage. There is no guarantee. So the law allows you to get married because it's your human right. But that law doesn't automatically confer leave to remain in the UK and doesn't actually force the government that to allow you to exercise that marriage right in the UK. So you can get married, but it doesn't mean you're going to get leave to remain. Now, that is the basic of it. So some people think, oh, I'm married to a British. No, it's not automatic. You still have to evidence the relationship. You still have to make the necessary applications. And the threshold, believe it or not, is very, very high. It's not easy at all because marriage in itself, to be able to say a relationship is not subsistent, is very hard. It's very, very hard. This is why I wanted to clarify whether you went through the assessment in the UK. If you had gone through the assessment in the UK, you would have found out that it's much, much harder and you probably wouldn't have continued with it. But that's another issue. What the person has to do, if they have new evidence, I don't know what evidence they have, and I don't know what evidence the Home Office stood on to say the relationship wasn't subsistence and genuine. But if they have evidence, by all means, they can make the application. But from what I said, UK is not necessarily the place that they have to exercise that marriage. It's not compulsory. The law does not confer automatic right to live in the UK and exercise that marriage. The law allows you to get married because it's your legal right. And that's as far as it goes. You can't force the government to say, I'm married to a British person, but so I have to live here. That British person can also go and live in the other person's country or a third country, even. So it is complicated. It's not as easy as people think. If there is new evidence, and that evidence was one of the reasons why the refusal happened. So if they say, I'm just going to use a stupid example. You did not provide us with, let's say, electricity bill in both your names, and therefore we don't believe the relationship is genuine. If you now can have found that electricity bill from that time, you can go back and say, you refused me because I didn't have electricity bill. I've contacted the electricity company and they have provided me a bill from that time. And this is it. And this is our new ones. That's different. So if it's a situation like that, of course, application can always be made, but we can't. Nobody can tell you whether an application is going to be successful or not, but it will be looked at on its own merit and the strength of your evidence.
Thank you for that, Mercy.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you for that. Mercy used to work in she's an expert when it comes to
I used to lead on marriages, so yeah.
Yes, she's one of our experts. So now I can see Samsung or whatever. Well, I mean, Samsung. Normally, I would not call names like this. People should register with their proper names. So on this occasion, I will call you Samsung SMS926B. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Good evening, everyone. I'm sorry, I was trying to change it to my name, but I couldn't. Please, I need clarification regarding the degree level requirement for COS that was mentioned by Mercy. I want to understand. I have a degree. I came here and did my master's.
Excuse me, sorry.
Yeah.
We don't want personal questions.
All right. I'm sorry. But what I want to understand
because
now
it's unfair on you.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand the implication on my getting a COS. What's that degree level requirement? It's not very clear to me, please.
What do you mean it's not clear to you? It depends what visa you're on right now.
I'm on
If you want to
post-study visa right
switch,
now.
If the person wants to switch onto a COS, by all means, they will, from Tuesday, it will be under the new rules. So
yeah, that rule is not very clear. That degree level requirement is what I'm trying to understand, please.
If the person has a degree, they can go on to the COS. There is no misunderstanding. What the government has done is it has put up the skills required for that visa. That's all it is. So if you have the requirements, then fine. There is no clarification. And of course, if you are that educated, if you go online, there's lots of information on there. I said earlier that students, and they are the worst in doing their research on immigration. All the information is on gov.uk, and I'm going to post some more on the sidebar. What I said was the requirements, the skills requirements have gone up. So for a person to be able to get that, they have to have those skills at the skill level of 6. So if the person has the skill level, then they can. If they have a sponsor and they have the right visa, they are on the correct visa, that can actually switch. If you're on a tourist visa, you can't switch. So if you're already on that visa that can switch, then, and you've got the qualification level, then that's fine. So I will post it on the sidebar.
So I think as Mercy said, I think Mercy, you
look
mentioned
online.
There's 2 lists, as you mentioned, Mercy. So the level 6, which is the degree level holders. So with those, you can bring your dependents. And so, yeah, I think Mercy mentioned it when she first spoke as well, the 2 lists. The other one is a shortage list. Now, if obviously, and they're probably going to be the lower qualifications, like the 3 to 6, the 4s, I think was mentioned earlier, or 5. Now, on those temporary shortage lists, they're only a year kind of jobs, and those you won't be allowed to bring your dependents. So it actually all does depend on what qualifications you have. As Mercy has just said now, if you've got that degree, you should have literally no problem. But if you haven't and you're trying to apply to another shortage list job, yes, you will.
I have just put a link on the sidebar for you to have a look.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Please click through that one. It will,
Thank you, so that we can go to other people. I've got Anthony. Anthony, are you there? Okay, let's go to Ngozi Ike.
Can you hear me?
Anthony's here now.
Okay, Anthony, go on, Anthony.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My question is, for someone who just got a job, possibly in NHS, after the 22nd of July, is that person allowed to have his dependents also attached to the visa? Both the person and the dependents are already in the UK, but the person just acquired a new job with the NHS, and then he wants to also have his dependents
on the job
attached to the visa. So the question is this particular person now allowed to have dependents?
When did the person come into the UK initially?
The person came into the UK
the first one
after July 22nd.
Huh?
No.
The first
it depends on what the job NHS job is. Is it a care job? Because if it was after 22nd, they wouldn't have got the care job.
This is why I'm confused. After the 22nd of July, there is no care job. Nobody's coming into the UK for a care job. It doesn't exist.
Care job. He got I think a level 6 job. That is radiography job.
Yeah,
in
so that's fine.
the hospital. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a skilled worker job.
That's a skilled worker job. Yeah.
So the question is he allowed to have his dependents here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. If you look on the sidebar, I've just put something on the sidebar, and the last line says, newly sponsored workers in TSL and ISL roles, RQF 3 to 5 cannot bring dependents. So if it's a 6, they can. Does that make so if it's a proper skilled worker job and it's a level 6, then they can. If that job is on that list. Does that make sense? I have put a link on the sidebar. Hello?
Okay. So just I wanted to find out if a radiography job is on the list.
Yeah.
Can you go and find out yourself?
Okay, thank you.
Go and find out yourself? Thank you.
Yeah, look on the list. It's on the sidebar. I shouldn't be doing that. You should be doing your own research.
Exactly. I've got Ngozika Ike. Ngozika, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you so much. I appreciate all you're doing with this workshop. Please, my question is in relation to, what's the current immigration status for nurses to come over from Nigeria to UK? I'm just concerned a bit about the current legislation about NHS nurses trying to cut down to 50% of NHS staff. So is there anything like nurses will not be able to come over to UK from other African countries at this time?
You need to be speaking to the NHS. This is not an immigration question. It's an NHS question.
No, it's not. I'm not talking about NHS. Just giving an example. Okay, let me make it clear. What is the status or immigration status now for nurses, not carers, coming over to UK?
I think as we've already mentioned,
salary list. Sorry.
Yeah, I think as we've already mentioned numerous times, it depends on which list they sit and under which job they're doing. So you'll have to check the requirements, because obviously nursing comes in there's different jobs in nursing. So if it's a year 6, if it's a scale 6 job, then yes, absolutely. It all depends. You'll have to look at the list on your particular job title as a nurse, which list it comes under.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, the list, I've just posted the list on the sidebar. So there are two lists. There's temporary shortage list, which is
Okay.
TSL, and then immigration salary list, which is ISL. So look at those two lists. If the nursing is on there, that's fine. If it's not, then I'm aware that currently there are some countries in Africa that nurses cannot be recruited from because it's unethical, because
All
the
right.
countries need these nurses. So years ago, whereas in the 90s, in the early 2000s, a lot of nurses were recruited from abroad. That restriction was put in place because developing countries also need their own nurses. So not all countries can nurses can be recruited from specific countries, but this information, you can get
Yeah.
this information from the actual NHS because they have a different sort of thing that they do. They have agencies that recruit specifically for them, and they have a strong case for that. That has nothing to do with immigration because they do all the paperwork. They do everything for you.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, so they have a special way of recruiting, which doesn't really come through immigration. They do everything for you. So if you have any contacts within the NHS, this is where you have to ask the question. When you say, what are the immigration status of nurses? That is not really a valid question because we don't have immigration status for certain jobs. It's either it's now just skilled, and within that there are two lists where jobs are listed: temporary, 6 months, 1 year, whatever, and stuff like that. So it's a lot more complicated than it used to be. But speak to
Mm.
somebody from the NHS recruitment, and they will give you a clearer picture.
All right, thank you very much.
And yeah, and you can ask this for the specific country if that country is one of those countries where people can be recruited from as well, because within their own recruitment there are limitations on countries.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yemisi, you are on mute.
Sorry. No wonder. I was just saying, conscious of time, we still have some hands up. But what I would also want to do towards
Still can't hear you, MC.
You can't
I
hear
can hear her.
You can't?
Okay.
You can't.
Yeah, I can now. Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is to have our retired inspector just talk about crime and our children just for 5 minutes towards the end. But it's just to give you a snippet into some of the things we'll be doing going forward. Felix Doe, are you there? Okay. Ralph, okay.
Oh, God. Oh.
Sorry, who is that?
Hello.
Ralph, sorry, who is that? Is that Ralph okay or Felix?
No. This is Felix though.
Oh yeah, quickly. You have 1 minute.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Please, I just want to ask concerning the COS from Nigeria for senior carer. I don't know, maybe after this new law on 22 of July, maybe I can still bring senior carer from Nigeria.
No, it doesn't exist anymore. That's done.
Wow.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Let me see. Call the next person.
Ralph, okay? Ralph, okay? Okay.
All right. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Mine is for the carers who are already in UK, who are already in UK, who are still allowed to.
Whoever that is. Sorry, Mr.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go on. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, for carers who are already in UK, who are also allowed to probably change sponsorship and have their sponsorship renewed. Will the salaries threshold affect them? I mean, will they also have to, or they can remain on the former salary threshold where they were given sponsorship before, for those probably who are within the range of maybe £26,000 and all that? Will they now be required to meet up with a more salary threshold to be renewed, or to get another company sponsor them while they are within the country?
You know what? I've got it here somewhere. There is an exemption for some. Hold on one moment. hold on, I'm just trying to get it. Some of them will still have to stay on there. Just one moment. Whilst I'm looking,
They're
for
looking at that.
care workers under the health worker, the requirement is at least 25,000 per year, whichever is higher, 100% of the is always apply. Entry clearance for care workers closed in for workers legally employed at least 3 months. You know what? There is a thing about some exemptions. I think there is an exemption until the end of 2026. The government have said there will be exemptions until the end of 2026, but it doesn't specifically mention how. Because this just started, some of the information are a little bit patchy at the moment, and we are still trying to get some clarification. There are exemptions, but I think when you switch after 22nd of July, you go under the higher threshold. Certainly, when it's time to apply for your indefinite leave to remain, it will be assessed under the higher threshold. That I have seen. Hello, did you hear me?
Yeah, I can
If
hear
you
you.
reach your 5 years or whatever time it may be, and you are making your indefinite leave to remain application, it is going to be under the higher threshold. However,
So,
I think in the meantime, you are going to keep the same threshold.
all right, thank you. But now with it, the same
Sorry, Mr. Ralph, no, you can't have, we have
All right,
hands up, sorry.
I will put
Nigeria-
links on the sidebar for you to go and do your own research. It's all on gov.uk. Yeah? Let me put the
Let's
link.
quickly move on because the time is fast spent. Nigeria 001.
Hello.
Hello? Yes, we can hear you, please.
Okay.
Your question.
I want to find out concerning the carers that are on sponsor and their sponsor's license are being revoked. Can they, number one, can they still, meanwhile their visa are not curtailed, can they still go on with their supplementary work while they are looking for a new sponsor? And also, why can other care home still employ them without working for the 3 months before giving them sponsor?
It's a law. We can't change that law. But I have put something on the sidebar. Can you have a look? 1933. I put something on the sidebar, resources to support displaced workers. Let me copy and paste it again. If you look on the sidebar, the resources to support displaced workers. If your employer has lost their sponsorship license, click on that. I just put it on now. Click on that. It will tell you who to email to help you find a job. The government has created local regional hubs. And look on there, look at where you live, and go to the regional hub. There's an email address, contact them. They will invite you to come and do some stuff, and they will find you a job. So, yes, you can still continue to work the 20 hours. Nothing's going to stop you. And you should also be engaging with your local regional hub to find you a job. So I have put the link on the sidebar. Click on it. If anybody on here has had their employer's license revoked and they currently don't have a job, click on the sidebar. I have put a link on there. Resources to support displaced workers. It's from Care England website. Click on that. There is a list of emails and contacts people you should contact depending on where you live. Contact them and they will help you and support you. I hope this helps.
Thank you, Mercy. The next person is Akin Lawrence. Akin Lawrence, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Good evening.
Evening.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sazama, so far. So I'm just going to go straight to my question. During the whole discussion, you mentioned briefly about a man that has been in the UK for quite a while. Then he doesn't have his stay. Then you were saying that he's not going to wait for a child born here for 8 years before he can use the child to now get his stay. So I want to ask a question regarding this. For those that give birth in the UK, just looking at other routes to securing your stay, getting your ILR in the UK here. So I want to ask, for those that give birth to a child here in the UK. Now I've seen somewhere, not like I'm so sure what the person said. Well, I think on TikTok or Instagram.
Mr. Akin Lawrence, please, can you go straight to your point? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay, so what I want to ask is this. For a child born in the UK, how many years can the child be in the UK for the parents to use the child to get the ILR? That's my question, just to be brief.
I don't particularly like answering questions like this, but I'm gonna answer it. A child born in the UK, 7 years is what is seen as, oh God, what is it called again? If the child was born in the UK and has lived in the UK continuously for 7 years, never been out anywhere, and they can prove that they've been in the UK for this long, and 7 years is what's deemed as the period of the time where the child has made a UK their home, like their family life here. So, under the Human Rights Act, they can make an application to stay here, and the parent can be the responsible adult. And of course, it will be subject to assessment. If it's assessed and they're granted, then the parent and the other siblings can also apply to be part of a family unit. So it is actually 7 years, but of course, by the time the application goes through and whatnot, it could be 8 years. But we're not here to discuss the routes that you have, what you have to use to get permission to stay in the UK. All the information is online. If you care to really research it, if you go on gov.uk and you search indefinite leave to remain for UK born child, it will come up and you can read it.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome. OPPOCPH 2273. Are you there? Okay. Ogundimu S24. Ogundimu S24, are you still there? Okay. Mrs. Chimeji Oji, NCAA.
Hello, I'm here. I'm here.
Sorry, who is that?
Ogudimu.
Okay. You've got 1 minute, madam.
Can you be quick, because we've got 20 people and we've literally got 10 minutes, 9 minutes to go.
Okay, sorry, please. The support that is put up for care workers, displaced care workers, that has been that has not been coming forth. As in, for 6-7 months, one has been on it and they are not giving any positive response. And care homes are not recruiting the person that is on care visa. So in this situation, that the sponsor's license has been revoked and the visa are not curtailed, what would the person do?
They still need to look for sponsorships. And another thing that people need to do is find, England is not the only place in the UK. There are places in Scotland who are desperate for care workers. So if you concentrate your searches in certain areas, saturated areas, where there are lots of people who are displaced, you're obviously not going to get a job. So spread your wings and look at other places. There are people in Scotland who don't even know these issues that we have in England. I had a meeting just before I went on leave, and I'm trying to get them to come and recruit in England. So it is certain areas are saturated. There are people who have called them the next day, they brought them in for training and they've got jobs. It depends where you live. It's not great, it's not 100%, but if I were that person, I would still continue to engage, because at the end of the day, the Home Office wants you to engage with these people because we've made money available to them to help. At the end of the day, if you go back, you are extending your visa or whatever, and you can provide evidence that my sponsorship, my sponsor's permission
License.
license was revoked. You asked me to go to these centers and I engage with them religiously, and this is the evidence.
Thank you, Mercy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mercy. Vivian.
This is Oppo, please. Oppo.
Sorry.
This is Oppo CH.
Sorry, please. I called you within, so hold on. Let me call somebody else. We'll come back to you. Vivian Darrell Jimba. Are you there?
Hello.
Is she still there or she's gone? Vivian, are you there? Okay.
Go to the next person.
Yeah, we'll go back to
Hello.
Oppo.
Hello, I'm here.
Is that Oppo or who's speaking?
Hello, good evening. Vivian is here. Sorry.
Okay, quick, please.
Oh,
ask
yes, please. Yeah, I would like to find out, for those on Global Talent visa, does the new rules affect them and their dependents? And then how long is it going to take for them to apply for the IRR?
I did not mention Global Talent. I think Global Talent is 3 years, and I did not mention this in my talk at all whatsoever. So all the rules still apply.
You.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Oppo
you.
is in place.
Oppo, okay. Are you there?
Thank you very much. Yes.
I
just want to ask quickly about for someone who the main applicants on the round.
Hello. Sorry, Oppo, can you please turn down whatever it is that is echoing there, or else we're going to shut you up.
Okay, I'm away from that place now. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we can. Go on.
All right, so I just want to ask quickly, for someone on COS of 5 years and is about to apply for ILR with the family, but the family came in just 6 months later than him. What is the option for the dependent? Because at the time he is going to apply for ILR, the dependents have only spent 4.5 years. What are the options? And the COS is just for 5 years.
Mr. Adebola, can you answer that at all?
Hello.
We can hear you.
Yeah. I think there are two options here for that person to. If you ask me, I will say they should err on the side of caution. Err on the side of caution, meaning the Home Office are very strict with their rules. If they say 5 years, it has to be 5 years. The main applicant can apply for the ILR. Yeah. The dependents don't necessarily have to do that at that time, because if they did, they will be deemed to be making, because if you make an the main applicant cannot apply until within 28 days window before the expiration of the visa. If you did that 29 days before that, the application will be deemed invalid.
Invalid, yeah.
So you can then begin to think of somebody who came 6 months after. So that's why I said they have to err on the side of caution. You see, the problem that we have in our society is people don't like to be patient. Okay? If he gets if he applies in time and gets his indefinite leave to remain, I don't see why the dependent cannot wait another 6 months. Because if he gets his own, perhaps by the time he gets his own, that 6 months will have lapsed anyway. So it's going to be a sure bet that they two are going to get it. So all that person has to do is to do his own first and wait for another 6 months to do for the family, because everything has to be, proportional to the immigration rules. Anything outside that, I'm sorry, is going to be money and time wasted. So that is my own way of dealing with it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I will add that I know it's been done before, but I don't think it was 6 months. I think it was just a month or so. So I'm not sure. 6 months. I don't know the time frame, but I know it's been done before, but I didn't know the time frame and it was successful. So I don't know.
I think it's best to err on the side of caution. Right. So thank you. So TG, are you still there? Okay, Dr. Adeni.
I am, please. TG is here. Good evening.
Can't
I was
continue.
trying to unmute. Apologies,
Okay.
please.
Yeah, go on, go on.
Okay, my question is this. If one is switching from creative work visa to skilled worker visa and got their COS before the 22nd, what are the rules that apply for visa application if they didn't apply before 22nd?
Sorry? You want
Okay,
to know what the rules are? If
if
they
they got the
apply.
COS before 22nd and they have not applied for, are they still on the old route if they still have to, if they are going to apply for visa application? Yes.
After the 22nd of July.
Yes.
Yeah, COS doesn't exist after the 22nd of July.
So even if the person is already got the COS before 22nd.
Mm-hmm. If you got it before the 22nd and they haven't applied for the visa.
Yes.
So they've got it, but they haven't applied at the embassy. Is that what you are
Yes.
saying?
Yes.
If they got it before the 22nd, they can still, come. This new thing started on the 22nd, on or after. However, it depends on when they got it, because before the 22nd, even before the 22nd of July, to bring somebody from abroad on COS, you
The person
have
is already inside.
So
The
you're talking
person,
about a switch.
yes.
The person
The
switched
person
from a
is switching,
different visa
yes, from
to a
creative to
COS.
skilled. Yes.
Ah, okay. Yeah, the old rules apply. The pre 22nd of July visa rules apply.
All right. Thank you so much.
That's
Thank
okay.
you.
Yeah, when I was talking, I said on or after.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. iPhone. It just says iPhone. So normally I wouldn't call such, but because we didn't give that.
I'm sorry, ma. Good evening, ma.
Good God. Good evening.
Please. I want to ask a question which has to do with somebody who has been in the country since 2023, and maybe the children are not still in the country. Can they still bring their children in? That is number one question. Number two question.
No. You have.
Hold on.
I'm only asking. There's so many other people. One question, please.
Sorry, somebody who's been in the UK since 2023 on what? On what visa? What type of visa are they here on?
Can you ask him to? Can you unmute yourself? iPhone.
Okay, ma. Yeah, it's done already, ma.
What is done?
Hello, ma.
Yeah.
You said somebody who's been in the country for since 2023. On what visa are they on? I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I came in as a student, then turned to a carer in the country.
When did they turn into a carer? Was it pre-March last year?
No, 2024. No, 2023 November.
It's when they came in as a carer.
Yes.
Yeah, they are on the oldest, the old ones. So yes, they are still allowed dependents.
Thank you, ma. Bye, ma.
Before they change, yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Have we had Mrs. Chimene Oji? I think I called her, but she wasn't there. Wavy Drew.
Yeah, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for today's session. My question is, so someone that is on is like a health and care worker visa dependent visa. Someone that is on health and care worker dependent visa and wants to switch maybe to a care visa now. Can they still switch after the 22nd? They are
Yes, they
within
can
the
switch. Yes, they can switch after the 22nd, but they will be under the new rules.
okay, which is say maybe 25,000 something. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Look online, you will see yeah.
Samsung S928B. That's all that it is. Samsung S92B. Okay.
Hello, good evening. Hello.
Yeah, go on. Samsung S92B.
Yeah, good evening. I just want to ask that presently I'm on a
No,
postgraduate
we're not taking personal questions, please. We've said it at the beginning. It's not fair on you. So many people are seeing this.
Okay, that's all right. I can literally put it down to everyone. Someone who is on a postgraduate visa, that has been working with a care sector for over a year. So apparently they've not gotten a COS, but can they still apply for a COS after July 2022?
So after July 22, you are switching. So you can
No,
still switch.
so
You can
they
switch
are
from
not.
the graduate to
No. Mercy, listen. Mercy, wait.
So they are on a postgraduate visa.
Mhm.
So they've not gotten a sponsorship after 2022. So they now got an employer who want to give them a sponsor. Can they switch? Can they go
Switching is
on for their
permitted. Yeah.
COS?
Switching is permitted. Yeah.
So from postgraduate to a skilled worker after
Like I
July
said,
2022.
switching is permitted. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Adiola. At this rate, we'll probably have to extend this session. Is everybody happy for us to extend?
Yeah, for just about 20 minutes.
20 minutes max. Okay, I've written. So any more name hands, I'll not call them. Okay, Adiola is not there. Layok 820. I don't know if I could pronounce.
Yeah, can we count how many hands are up? We can't add any more hands.
Yeah, that's it. We've got 10, and that's why I'm writing them down. I'm taking them off. Anybody after that, we're not accepting.
I think we've got 17.
Hello, good evening all.
17.
No, they
Like
that's just added. Sorry, who is speaking? Who is speaking? Layok, is that Layok?
Yeah.
Unmute Layok, please. Unmute Layok, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, good evening everyone. Just a quick question, please. For someone who was on the care route visa and the person switched companies and applied for a new visa, but it's been up to 8 weeks and the person has not yet got any update from Home Office. How best can the person chase that up for updates, please? Thank you.
The company will have to chase, and there is a special email they use, special email address they use, so the company will have to chase on that person's behalf.
Okay, thank you.
Answer.
You're welcome. FJ. FJ.
Plenty food.
FJ.
Hi, good evening. Yes, sorry. Hi,
go
good
on.
evening.
Good evening.
Yes, so I just wanted to ask, right? Mercy mentioned for the new temporary list visa that was released. Sorry, temporary list that was released. I just want to mention for someone that gets a job under that list, is the person able to sponsor his or her dependent that is already in UK?
I have put a list on there. It depends which RQF
The 3 to 5.
3 to 5. No, it's literally on the sidebar. If you look on the sidebar right now, I put it on there at 2027, and it's the last sentence on there. If you look on there, newly sponsored workers in TSL and ISL roles at RQF 3 to 5 cannot bring dependents. If the dependents are already in the, it doesn't really state what the situation will be. But if they've switched from something that had dependence to this, the new rules apply.
Hey, can we mute whoever that is? Thank you. Going to the next person. Cindy. Admin, please, can you look for whoever has a child in the background and mute? Thank you. Cindy. Okay. Oladotun, Olaniyi.
Hi, I'm here.
Who is
Cindy.
okay?
Sorry, I was having issues on muting.
Okay.
Okay. My question is very quick. A couple is on graduate visa and they're about to be sponsored by a company. So the question is, can the COS bring their child? They have a child in Nigeria, which they added when they were coming as a student visa, but unfortunately, they didn't come with a child. So now they're about to be sponsored. Can they bring in the child with the new COS?
Starting from when?
Sorry, where? What did you
Starting
say?
from when? So they are about to get a COS, and today's date is the 25th of July, right?
Yeah.
They haven't got it. They're about to.
Yeah, soon,
It's a
like
no.
maybe in weeks.
It's a no. After the 22nd of July, it's a no.
Okay, but it can cover the family here. They have a family here too, like a child. And okay.
But they can't bring a child in. Sharon, were you saying something?
We can't
Unmute
hear you.
yourself, Sharon.
You're on mute. Unmute yourself, Sharon.
Yeah. We can't hear you.
Okay.
We can't hear
Can
you.
you type it on the sidebar,
Type it
Sharon?
on the sidebar, Sharon. Can't hear you. Okay. Oladotun, Olaniyi. Okay. Awofodu. Okay. T. Is T still there? Okay. Olumide.
Hello, T is here.
Sorry, if I've gone past your name, then I won't go back because, like we said, we're just
T,
extending this.
yeah, I was trying to unmute.
Hear me.
Okay, go ahead.
T is here.
Okay, go on. Sharon, I'll call you back.
Good. Okay, good evening, everyone. So I was just gonna ask, for someone who has been on a care visa since 2023, but the company that brought her in is currently not having enough hours to give to her, and the person is currently looking for another opportunity. So currently, the person is trying to consider a different opportunity, but for a different code now. Now he's switching from a care work to another nursing role whose code is different from the current one she's on. So I just want to ask, does the new rules apply to that person? Is it possible for the person to still be sponsored? Because currently the current code the person is going into is no longer eligible for sponsorship. But because the person has been here already since 2023, so I don't know if it's still possible for the person to switch into that new role to a different code.
So this person is going to make a decision without having done the research on it. Is the list on the immigration salary list or on the TSL, the temporary shortage list?
Yeah, it's on the temporary shortage list.
Okay, you have to look at the conditions attached to that and what RQF role that is and make that decision. But that if it's within 3 to 5, they cannot bring dependents.
No, the person is not bringing dependent. The person is currently in the UK on a care visa. It's just switching to another
It will be under the
role.
new rules, yeah, because it's a completely new code. If they stay within the care sector, then they will be, they can carry whatever it is. But if you're completely coming off onto the TSL, the new rules will apply under that actual job.
Oh, okay.
Because
Thank you.
they're leaving the care sector completely. So they have no
Yeah, the
choice
person
then.
is going into dental nursing role.
And don't forget that TSL is a temporary shortage list. It's temporary.
Okay.
They will expire. It expires, I think, next year, December. Just
Okay.
the rules are different. I have put it on the sidebar. So click on the TSL and read it. It's a lot complicated. We don't have enough time to go through this for you. You have to do the
Oh.
research on it. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. No, sorry. Olumide. Did I call Olumide before? Olumide. Okay.
Okay, I can hear you now. So I just want to ask that is it RQF? Is it the 6 and the 3 to 5? Is it based on the role or based on the person's qualification?
The RQF is based on whatever is assigned to that, whichever list it is. RQF is like A level, 3 to 5 is like A level, and then over 5 is like degree level. Does that make sense? So whatever RQF is assigned to whatever role is what it is. Does that make sense? It's not about your person's qualification, it's what the role requires.
Okay. Abosede.
It's the list, it's on the side, but please click on it and read. Yeah?
Abosede. UCH. Tibelo.
Yeah, sorry, good evening. For a displaced worker, is he allowed to send email to other regions different from the one is situated in terms of those hubs that were put in place by the Home Office?
I really don't know. I only signpost people to where they live. But if you know that there are some regions where there is shortage, why not? I will give it a shot. You are desperate. You know there are vacancies in other places. I would, yeah.
Okay, because you said that we can send mails to other regions that
I never said that.
Yeah.
I never
Okay.
said send emails to other regions. I never on the list. I never said that. All I said was do not limit yourself. If you
Okay.
find out there are other areas where there are sponsors, by all means, spread your wings and go there. And I said, I know that in Scotland, they are desperate for staff because I had a meeting with somebody who actually confirmed it. So if you want to just stay in England, fine, but look further afield for areas where there are jobs and don't limit yourself to England. But I never said send emails to other areas on the list. I never said that. Please don't put words in my mouth. I said there are jobs in Scotland and other areas. So just spread your wings and look for sponsors in other areas.
Okay, let's move on.
Yeah.
Dr. Abigail. Okay. Somilola.
Hello, dear. This is Dr. Abigail.
Okay.
You just released me now. Yeah. Just a follow-up question based on the when the person is due for an ILR, and you there was an advice that you, the main applicant, do yours first and wait for others to join you. But like the main applicant has got children who live here, who were born here. So let's say 7 and 5 who were born here and haven't had any issue to go abroad, but they do not have what's it called, passports or biometrics, because it's part of on the form, it's part of the mandatory documents that you have to tick the box. At this point, what is the chances of the person not having a passport or biometrics for the child? Is it going to affect the person's application, or you have to go get one before you can then do your application? Thank you.
Sorry, I don't understand the question. Hello?
Person is gone. The last person on my list before the others is Tomilola. Tomilola, are you there? No? Okay. K-A-Y. In the absence of Tomilola. K-A-Y. Okay.
Hello.
Okay. Yeah, go on.
Yes. Good evening, ma'am. Thank you for the opportunity. I want to ask if there's any plans for carers whose employer, because there are a lot of carers that they are facing this challenge, whose employer refuses to extend their visa or COS as the case may be, and there help assistance for them.
Sorry, their sponsor doesn't want to renew
We want to
their
renew, yeah. Yes, we want to renew.
doesn't want to.
Yes, yes.
You can't force your sponsor to renew. They can say they don't have the
Okay.
contracts to renew. They're not legally
Okay.
obliged to keep you on there for the whole period. So they just have to look for new sponsors. They
Okay.
have to look for new
Okay, I
jobs.
just wanted to know if there's if there's any help. Okay. They
No,
just have to help
if
themselves.
they don't have the contract, they can't keep you on. Unless
Okay.
there is a widespread abuse or something. If you look on the sidebar, I have put on resources to help you, your rights and everything. Workers' rights leaflets. I put it on at 7:44, and I've copied and put it back on. So if you want to know your rights as an employee, please have a read on what I've put on the sidebar.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's
Not a
but
problem.
you can't force your sponsor to sponsor you if they don't have the contract. They're not legally obliged to do that.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay, thank you. Unfortunately, we can't take any more because it's 21:14 now, and we only have about less than 10 minutes. So can I call on Ezekiel Aoyomi, the police liaison person for ABLE? Talk a bit about, I think you introduced yourself earlier, but for the purpose of those who did not hear, and just to, a snippet around crime and our youth, because a lot of our youth are getting into trouble. So Ezekiel, over to you.
Good evening, everyone. Like I said earlier, my name is Ezekiel. I'm a retired senior police officer, and I've been with ABLE now for almost 20 years. One of the things we do is actually talk about crime. Unfortunately, that's all I know. We try to let our people know what is crime and what is not crime. It's basically, we organize series of awareness lectures and seminars. The reason we do that is that, just like has been mentioned by previous speakers today, some of us come to this country thinking that we can apply the law as is applicable in Nigeria. There are so many things that we do and say in Nigeria that are not acceptable in this country. And that's what we do. We try and go through what are your rights under the law, what is domestic abuse, for example. We go through even traffic offenses, things like that. And most importantly, the implications of this for your immigration status in this country. Because just like in Nigeria, I can only speak of Nigeria, when you commit an offense, there are no records of it. If you know your way around, nobody will even know. But here, unfortunately, every contact with the police has a record, and that affects your DBS. So those they have implications. So that's what we try to do. I haven't got much time to go into details of it, but all I will say is that within the next 2 or 3 months now, ABLE will be organizing another crime awareness series where we'll be prepared to take questions and then to let you know what are your rights in this country. For example, if the police stop you, what can they do? If the police come to your house, what are your rights there? If the police talk to your child? How can they talk to you? What can they say to your child when you're not there? Things like that. And hopefully, going through that will enlighten our people and make us more aware of what we can and cannot do and more law-abiding. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. I think we can now bring this to a close. But before I hand over to Mr. Adebola to do the roundup, it's just to say that please, if you have questions that are personal or if you would like to attend the surgery, I think we've posted the surgery in the chat. If not, the different platforms will share it on the different platforms for people to go. And just to reiterate, if you are a faith organization and you would like to engage, maybe set up your own surgery in your community, please get in touch. Mercy and Sharon will be more than happy to work with you to set up surgery. The surgery is to give you direction, guide you, give you, direct you, not, we don't call it advice. We can only direct you, we can only point you in the right direction and give you the right information that you need to make informed decision. It's all about you being able to make informed decision. So before I hand over to you, Mr. Adebola, Mercy, any last thoughts?
Yeah, thank you very much for having us, and thank you for coming. There were quite a lot of you. Certainly one of the biggest talks I've ever been on. And like Yemisi said, Mr. Adebola, can you please share the surgery details? It's on the 4th Thursday of every month at Christ Apostolic Church in Kingsland Road. Prophetess Omideyi. It's about 15 minutes on the bus from Liverpool Street. And also, just out of curiosity, do we know what nationalities are on here tonight? Do we know? Is it mainly Nigerians or any other nationalities?
Yes, we know. We've got Nigerians, we've got Zimbabweans, we've got, I can see a couple of Benin noise. Is that what they call? From Benin?
Yeah.
From
Benin.
I've seen a couple from Togo as well.
Where?
Of course, Togo.
Okay.
Togo.
Yeah, it cuts across, West Africa mainly.
Okay.
Okay. And I've seen some people from America, though they are Nigerians in America.
Oh, okay.
I've seen someone from Russia as well.
Yes.
And I've seen someone from where's the other country in Russia now?
Ukraine?
Belarus.
Okay. There's a gentleman who said that they joined from Wales. I'm interested in knowing
yes, I'll
if he can contact us. That would be
I'll send
great.
his contact, Eurocom, because I think you need to work with the people.
Yeah, I need to talk to him.
I'll send an email and introduce you. Sharon, any last thoughts before I hand over to Adebola?
Can you hear me? My mic wasn't working. No, thank you very much, everyone. I think it's been a really useful session. Great questions from people as well, and I hope it's helped. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Mr. Adebola, over to you to close off. And
thank you. I can't thank you, ladies, enough, and the gentleman who came in at the last minute. Even though it was more or less like a last minute thing, you guys came in and you said, you know what, we are ready to do it, and you came. Even though we had a bit of a technical glitch at the beginning, which scared me a little bit, because that is completely out of character for us. Everybody who comes to our programs knows that we are dead on time. But today, for some reason, maybe because it was a Friday, because normally what we do is on Saturday. Every Saturday we have our virtual conference. For that, I have to say a huge, because you have no idea how much you have enlightened our people. I was just listening to you ladies and I was feeling overjoyed in my mind that, listen, because we meet with these guys every day and we know their fears. We know everything about them. And it's like you are just puncturing every single fear that they have, one way or the other. So for that, like you said, we want this to be, perhaps maybe once in a month thing for us to do it. because we have, trust me, we have thousands and thousands of people, just in London alone, thousands of our people out there. Like, I quoted the scripture earlier that the scripture says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. You see, the reason why people listen to, I call them street lawyers, is because, that is the only, when people are vulnerable, they listen to anything. They take any garbage that comes to them. That is why a program like this, for me, is very, very essential. If we can do it maybe once, we will make time for it. Let us be doing it so that let's educate our people. Let's enlighten them. Because nothing. I used to be an illegal immigrant in this country too, so I understand where some of them are coming from. So that is why this kind of program is right in the middle of my heart, and I really want us to make it, something that we'll do every month. Get our people to know exactly, especially because a couple of legislation has just come up now, which I believe until tonight, many who joined us have no clue about it. That's trying to find out what is going on. So it is such a pleasure to have you ladies here. Let me use the street language. You ladies rock.
Thank you.
You ladies rock. From Lady Yemisi Jenkins, MBE, Mercy Ose-Poku, Sharon Guman, MBE. Me too, I need to get an MBE, I beg. Anybody out there, just put my name out there. And our retired, they say once a policeman, always a policeman.
Yes,
and that's why when he said all he knows is crime, I smiled. Thank you so very much for coming in, because his own perspective to this issue too is very germane to what is going on. Because a lot of people, because one of the things I tell my clients is, whatever you do in this country, make sure you stay out of crime. Because this country does not forget. And it is getting even more and more serious now, where even if you say you have British passport, they can take it away from you without warning. Years ago, they will have to give you a warning. This time around, no warning, then we just say, you know what, now our paper will they take them from you. What can you do? So that's why I always tell them, make sure, keep your nose clean. Once you keep it clean, like Lady Jenkins said, you have a better chance of getting indefinite leave to remain, and from there you become a British citizen. So for me, this program, I cannot say how much essential it is. Thank you so very much for and again, thank you so very much for, we had over 400 people joining today, which for me says a lot about how much people are yearning for information, because information is key, especially in this part of the world, and that is what we are here for. That is what the Renewed Hope Global is all about, bringing both our leaders, immigration officers on our program. Let us tell our people what time it is, so that they can understand that in this part of the world, it is not business as usual. If you're coming from Africa, whichever part of the Africa, you are coming into a new country. Even I got a call, even though I've been coming to this country every year on holiday, by the time I came to stay, it was a culture shock for me. So how about that? So we all need to get. So thank you so very much for. Don't let me wait that, because we need to close now. But then permit me just to recognize the presence of some, because believe it or not, some people came in from the Nigerian government. We had no less than Honorable Babatunde Ogala. He came in. Guess who he is?
I know him. He's a member. When I saw his name, I was like, "Son, what are you doing here?"
This is senior counsel to the president of Nigeria, no less.
I know. I saw his name. I was like, Oga, son, what are you doing here?
We've had
President of Nigeria.
Yeah, we have Right Honorable Badabi Amila from January this year. He's always been attending every week. I'm surprised he's not here today, maybe because it's Friday. He comes in. That is how the powers that be in Nigeria takes this program seriously, because they want to engage with our people, to understand, to feel the pulse of our people. So that is what we do here. So thank you ever so much for believing in us. I've seen people from America, Professor Adesegun Labido from America, Lady Sylvia Okoro from Abuja, so many other people that are just too numerous for me to. If I don't mention your name, please don't be annoyed. Sometimes I guess, I forget about stuff like this. But the important thing is, we are here today and we have been able to enlighten our people regarding the immigration rules. Mark my word, this is not going to be the last. We're going to do more but we'll let you know when we are coming. And these beautiful ladies are the same ones that will come next time, and give you more and more and more and more. Thank you ever so much. And my ladies, again, I can't thank you enough. God bless you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us. Somebody sent me a private message asking how do we get updates on future events. Renewed Hope would have also, please visit ableofficers.com.
Yeah.
You will get I didn't type, let me retype that. ableofficers.com. You would have events on there as well. So thank you everybody for coming and have a good evening.
And before we go, please look out for no conferences tomorrow, Saturday, because this is our conference for the week. Next week, definitely we'll bring somebody from Nigeria or anywhere else. So look out for the e-flyer. As soon as we get it, just help us to do the usual by sharing it. Every Saturday we're going to be here to make sure that we enlighten you about what is going on around the world. Thank you so very much, and God bless you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.